It is Tuesday. I am starting this vlog a bit late, but you know, it happens. It's not a surprise. But I do have all the updates. So, in terms of Spookopoly rolls, I finally finished A Storm of Swords, which is the third Game of Thrones book. I was reading this for the Michael Myers prompt to read a sequel, and I started it last week, and I just now finished it today. The audiobook is 48 hours long, so that was a whole thing. I gave it 5 stars though. It was so good. I am a fan of the show, so it's really nice to be able to read the books, and while a lot of things are different, like the world and the characters, like I already have a picture of that in my head from watching the show, so I don't have to focus so much on who these people are and where they are. I already have all of that tucked away up here, so I can just enjoy, I mean, as much as you can enjoy Game of Thrones. This one was good. Like, shit really starts to go down in this one for sure. Like, so many major characters died in this one, and it's just, it is so gruesome and so vicious to the point where, like, it's almost depressing. I did have to take several Taylor Swift breaks while reading this book just because I needed to change a pace. I didn't like that I had to spend so long in it, but at the same time, like, I enjoyed all the time I spent in it. Like, it's very odd. That cliffhanger, oh my God. I cannot imagine, like, reading that book when it first came out and having the book end the way that it does, and then having to wait who knows how long for the next one. I can't imagine. So if there are any of you out there who had to deal with that, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I also read another 5-star book. It wasn't for a Spookopoly prompt. I picked it up because my loan was about to expire, and I didn't want to put it on hold again, and I really wanted to read it. And that is Everything You Need to Know, or Everything You Need to Find is in the Library. I loved it. It is so, like that feeling you get when you read cozy fantasy, except like it's not fantasy. Well, I guess maybe you could, no, like it's cozy fantasy without the fantasy. I was very hesitant in the beginning. It's told from 5 people's perspectives. Like, you get a story from 5 characters in like this little community. And I didn't know that going in. And the first person that we hear from works in like retail, and it was very much giving convenience store woman. And if you don't recall, I hated that book, so I was like, oh my God, please don't let this be like convenience store woman. I don't want to do that again. But the story progressed, and I fell more and more in love. I loved it so much. It was so heartwarming and wholesome and slow and cozy, and it's so good. And it's one of those stories where I feel like everyone can get something out of it. Like, it was just so good. Like, I don't want to go too much into detail because I kind of can't without giving all of it away. I'm not very good at that, but I highly suggest, like, it's short. It's not going to take up a lot of your time. If you liked She and Her Cat and Convenience Store Woman to an extent, even though I didn't like that one, and also Before the Coffee Gets Cold, even though I didn't like that one either, I feel like if you like the general vibes of all of those books, you will probably enjoy this one too. And it was a great time, and I felt so good while reading it. And there's so much going on in between the lines. Like, there's so much to unpack in that story, and it's great. Like, it makes me wish that, like, I read it in high school and had to write a paper on it. Like that, like, it really gets you thinking, it really gets the wheels turning, and it was just so good. It was so good. But now it is time to do another roll, and I wanted to show y'all my dice. I got new dice. Well, I guess they're not new. I randomly found them in our bedroom, and they're massive. They're so massive. So we're going to do our next roll together. All right, so we are at my bookshelves. As you saw, I rolled a 5. And again, I'm playing Spookopoly on my phone, so you won't get to see me moving around the board. But the next space I landed on was highest rated. So I just got onto Goodreads and figured out what that was. Technically, my highest rated book that I have on my TBR is Kingdom of Ash, but I am not that far in the series yet, so that's not an option. Yeah, that's not an option. The next one technically should have been Devotions by Mary Oliver. As you can see, like, I've started this one already. This is a collection of poetry. I am not reading this for Spookopoly, and that's mostly just because I don't want to have to binge my way through it. Like, I really want to savor this collection. I really want to be in it, and I don't want to do this is not a readathon book, so whatever. But the funny thing is right next to it is my next option for highest rated, which is The Girl from the Other Side. I have this super pretty deluxe edition. I have not read these, and the third one just came out, so now I am finally going to start this. I was really concerned when I landed on this spot, because I mean, I don't know, I don't really fuck with Goodreads like that, so I had no idea what was going to pop up. So I was actually really excited that this is the one, because I've been meaning to pick this up since I bought it. It's a shame that I haven't. So this is our next book. Yay! I just need y'all to take a minute to look at how cute these babes are. Beeps found this like thing, and now it's a honeymoon suite for Bat and Call. Oh, they're so in love. I love them. I don't need y'all to tell me how majestic this angle is. I am so tired. Am I the only one that's tired of working for a living, or is it just me? On top of getting like slammed at work today, I have been playing catch up on my audiobooks. I will say Spookopoly has really thrown a wrench in that for me. And now a bunch of my holds are due, so I'm just trying to burn through them. The first one is Girl Made of Stars. This is an older YA. It's a hard-hitting YA. It deals a lot with sexual assault and rape, so watch out for those if you're triggered by any of that. I gave this a 3-star. I mean, it was fine. It's not a favorite for me. I will be unhauling it. I'm not going to reread it, but I'm really glad books like this exist. I'm going to put this one back in the wild so someone else can hopefully get more out of it than I did. My second 3-star of the day is A Lot's Away. There's nothing wrong with this book. Like, it's a fine book. It's just not for me. I mean, I went into this blind, and this happens to me a lot when I go into things blind, where it's not what I was looking for. I was expecting more like ooky, spooky, ghost type stuff and heritage and things like that. And it's more just like a murder mystery. This book takes place in Texas, specifically in South Texas. And because it's a ghosty story, I thought it was really fun when the characters started having a conversation about the haunted train tracks in San Antonio. Well, they don't flat out say San Antonio, they just say South Texas. But since I live here and I've been to those tracks, like I knew that those were the ones that they were talking about. So that was really fun. And another fun thing that came to mind while I was reading that, I was just like, damn, this book isn't even set in San Antonio, and it has more San Antonio setting than either of the oh God, what's her name? Than either of the Mariana Zapata books I read, where they're actually in San Antonio and there was zero setting. But again, I'm gonna bring this one back to half price so somebody else can find it and enjoy it. It's fine, and I'll probably recommend it to people. It's just it didn't work for me personally. You know, it is what it is. In terms of Spookopoly, I started The Girl from the Other Side last night. I'm that far in. But this bind up is like the first 3 like volumes of the paperback. So I've finished volume 1. So basically this takes place in a world where it's divided up into the inside and the outside. And the inside is like where all the humans live, and the outside is where all the cursed people are. Where, like, you know, these people are cursed and they turn into like these hideous monsters or whatever. So the people on the inside, if they suspect anyone of having the curse, they dump them into the outside. They murder them and they dump their bodies into the outside. And like, you're not allowed to go out there. They don't want anyone out there. Like, it's this whole thing. And basically we're following this little girl who's been abandoned on the outside. For whatever reason, apparently, like, whoever dumped her there thinks that she's cursed, and dumped her there to save her life so she wouldn't get murdered. And this one of the cursed ones has kind of like taken her in. But the thing is, like, if you're touched by anybody who's cursed, you'll catch the curse. So they're not allowed to touch in any way. I don't know. I mean, it's fine so far. I will say that I really wish that this was in color, especially for like this price tag. Like, these editions are not cheap. And I really wish that they were in color. The black and white, it's really hard to make things out. Like, it's very, like, it is primarily black. Like, it's very dark. It's very black. It's really hard to see. And I really wish that it was in color to provide more detail so I can better see what's going on. Like, sometimes I'm like really having to fucking stare at some of these panels to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to be seeing, because it's literally just black. So that's really my only issue with it. I mean, it's fine so far. I don't know if it's going to be a favorite, but I really hope that I give it at least like a 4, because these editions are stunning. So I'm going to continue reading this tonight, and we're going to go from there. But knowing me, I might just watch Gilmore Girls and go to bed.
Time for the after work update.
I don't know, I thought maybe a jingle would make this more interesting. I finished 2 books today. We are not surprised, are we? I finished Assassin's Apprentice. This is the first book in the Farseer trilogy. It's part of the bigger series, The Realm of the Elderlings. I've been really wanting to get into Robin Hobb, so I'm finally doing the thing. I gave this 3 stars. It's not that it's bad. It's just it's very slow and very depressing already. So we're following this boy Fitz, and he's a bastard son of a prince, I think. He gets trained to be an assassin because, like, he's not royalty, but he's not just like a nobody either, so he can kind of like toe the line. So this is being told from Fitz as like an old man. He's like recalling his life. And this starts when he's about 6 years old. And he doesn't have a good time of it. Let me just say, I do think that if I didn't already know that this series is so expansive, and that the end of the Fitz story, like at the very end, like the last books, will basically break you as a human, I don't know if I would continue on with this. But we're it's fine. I'm gonna continue on, and I really like these floppy paperbacks too. So we're gonna keep collecting these. So I did finish this today. I also finally read The Whispering Dark. I was warned about this one. They told me it was bad, but I read it anyway, and I gave it 2 stars. This is basically Ninth House, but if Leigh Bardugo decided to write it as a shitty YA novel instead. It is not good, but this edition is gorgeous. And if you're wondering if I'm going to unhaul this like I do all of my other 2 stars, the answer is no. I don't know if you remember, but a couple months back, I did my Jan Agaton roast, and this book was actually one of the books that I was supposed to read in that vlog, and I didn't get to it. And that video is also the video that got me to 100 subscribers. So I went out to celebrate the day I hit 100, and I found this really beautiful edition of The Whispering Dark at Half Price Books. And it's just so fitting that it happened to be this book because it was originally intended for that vlog that got me to 100 subscribers. This was the full moon book club pick that month, and it holds a special place. Like, not the story, not the inside, but like the physical book. Like, it has sentimental value now, so I'll never get rid of it. But I do know why there's a rib cage on this cover, and I do know why there's a rib missing, because that's been bugging me for the longest time. Not good, don't recommend, but will be keeping this stunning Owl Crate edition. In terms of The Girl from the Other Side, I read the second volume last night. I should be completing this tonight so we can roll again tomorrow. But that's basically it. I don't really have anything else to update you on. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's payday. Happy Taylor Swift movie day to all of y'all who went. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how it was down in the comments. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. I finished it. Lily! Look at me physically reading. Ooh. I gave this 3 stars. It's the cuteness of Teacher and Shiva that are keeping me reading, but the plot is interesting enough. My biggest issue is just the paneling is so dark. Like, I really wish this was in color, especially since this edition is like $43. Like, it could have been in color. So we are completed with the highest rated space. Now we can roll again and pick something else out. We landed on another Taylor Swift space. We landed on the witchy one. I'm a little short on witchy books at the moment. I was going to pick up The House Witch because I'm really excited about that book. I got it for my birthday. But one, that book weighs like 16 and a half pounds. And I actually looked on the inside, and the font, like the words, they are microscopic. So that's not going to be conducive for a readathon. I will be stuck in that book forever because, as we know, I don't have a lot of time to physically read these days. So we are going to read a Charmed book. A few years back, Beebs found the deal of a lifetime, and now I own almost all of these. And I'm very slowly rereading them. I had these as a kid, like when you could actually like walk into the Barnes and Noble and buy these for $5. Like I was obsessed. Now I have almost all of them again, and this is the next one that I'm at in my reread. So we're gonna read this. These are not aging well, but Charmed is a guilty pleasure, so it's fine. They're like 100 or so pages. They're real easy to get through. I can usually finish them in one sitting if I'm feeling the need, but this is definitely more conducive to a readathon than The House Witch. So this is what we're going to do. Spirit of the Wolf. Let's go.